There are many things about the 1980s that are unforgettable. Parachute pants, Rubik's Cubes, big hair, and heavy metal. But some things just get lost over time. In this video, we will take a look back at some of the 1980s things you forgot about. In July of 1987, Sears began selling the McKids clothing line. This was a partnership between Sears and McDonald's. In December of 1988, Sears opened the first 7 freestanding McKids stores. Initially, this joint venture seemed successful, but it became short-lived. In early 1991, all 47 freestanding McKids stores were closed. The clothing line continued to be sold in Sears stores until 1997 when Walmart began selling it exclusively. In 2003, Walmart ceased carrying the McKids clothing line in all of their stores. The McKids brand was launched internationally in 2004 with 15 stores that opened in China. Swatch watches were a huge part of the 1980s. These colorful, bright, and crazy watches were highly desired for kids and teenagers during the decade. Many of them just couldn't have one, and it was common to see younger folks wearing several on one arm. But watches weren't the only thing that Swatch made. They also launched clothing, sunglasses, bags, umbrellas, pins, and a few other accessories. One of the other Swatch items that many kids wanted was the large Swatch clock. This was visible in most places that sold Swatch watches, but not everyone had one of their own. They were really more of a bedroom decorating goal. Throughout the 1980s, there was a serious cola war going on between Pepsi and Coke. Some big famous celebrities endorsed Pepsi, but Coke persevered despite a disastrous new Coke formula in 1985. However, Coca-Cola may have won the battle in the closing months of the 80s. In 1989, we were all amazed by the dancing Coca-Cola can that sported headphones and sunglasses. It made you want to get caffeinated up with Coke and shake your own can. Toys R Us was a magical place for a kid during the 80s. Kids sang along with the jingle every time it came on television, and the store itself had every toy that you could imagine. If you went there, it was a special treat, and it was even better if you could get a toy. Do you remember the sacks or the bag that they would put your toy in? You probably didn't think much of it at the time, but when you look at it now, it does bring back some great memories. If you collected music during the 1980s, then you most certainly had cassette tapes. They were smaller, portable, and much more durable than records and 8-tracks. Many cars were just beginning to have cassette players, and the boombox as well as the Walkman made cassettes more popular than ever. But in order to carry all these cassettes around, you were going to need some sort of case, and that's where these came in. Kids today have no idea how easy they have it. Whether or not you were old enough to drink alcohol in the 80s, there's no doubt that you knew who Spuds MacKenzie was. He was the original party animal who was the mascot for Bud Light. He appeared in a lot of television commercials as well as printed advertisements. He was certainly the coolest dog of the 80s, and everyone wanted to get their hands on a Spuds MacKenzie shirt. It was not uncommon to see kids wearing Bud Light shirts to school that had Spuds MacKenzie on it. It's no secret that girls love to gossip, and that's something that has never changed. In the 80s, they passed notes in school and spent hours on the phone at home. If you ever had a daughter or a sister during the decade, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. But sometimes that wasn't enough. The Girl Talk board game was a staple at many sleepovers and was extremely popular. It was the type of game that challenged girls to gossip a little bit more, as if they needed any help in that. Mandatory seatbelt wearing laws were just becoming a thing during the 1980s. New York was the first state to pass one, which went into effect December 1st, 1984, and it was followed by New Jersey. It was not something that was immediate, and it took a while for the rest of the states to get on board with the idea. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration launched a series of successful commercials that were very memorable. They featured the crash test dummies who were named Vince and Larry. They became popular and well known for their signature catchphrase. You could learn a lot from a dummy. Soon people were running around and saying that to anyone anytime that they did something stupid. If I mention the name Clapper, then I bet the jingle is probably running through your head right now. If not, then here you go.
Clap on, clap off, clap on, clap off, a clapper.
You may not have had one, but you could not escape the commercials, and secretly you probably did want one. This was the original hands-free device that helped pave the way for home illumination in the future. In 1979, Lisa Frank, at the age of 24, founded Lisa Frank Incorporated. Her company initially produced stickers, but she went on to produce other items like jewelry, lunchboxes, pencils, folders, and trapper keepers. By the late 80s, Lisa Frank was everywhere and girls had to have them. The brand carried on, but it was never as popular as it once was in the 80s, although it did enjoy a brief resurgence in the 2010s and 2020s. Cable television was going everywhere in the 80s, and it introduced us to a lot of new programming that we had never seen before. In 1981, TBS, or Turner Broadcasting Station, began using a specialized program schedule that set it apart from the other stations. It was called Turner Time, and it meant that their shows began 5 minutes past the hour or half hour. We all wondered why they did that, but it was actually quite genius. Back when we all relied on TV guides, it resulted in the programming being listed in their own time entry, which helped them stand out. This caught the attention of viewers, and it led to more eyeballs on their programs. The odd times also encouraged viewers to keep watching the network instead of switching channels and joining in on something that had already started. By 1991, there were 3 other major networks that adopted the same delayed schedule. TBS reduced its use of Turner Time scheduling in 1997, and by 2000 they were pretty well phased out. However, on certain occasions, they still use it. Another television commercial that was always on the air was Zach the Lego Maniac. He came on the air in 1987, and he had a catchy synth-heavy theme song. This character was a highly successful ad campaign that went off the air in 1994. Every kid at the time thought he had the coolest room. As big as Zach was, there was one kid that was even bigger, and he was known as Messy Marvin. He was played by Peter Billingsley, and if that name doesn't ring a bell, then think Ralph from A Christmas Story. Messy Marvin had a huge unquenchable thirst for Hershey's chocolate milk, and of course he was always making a mess. He was so popular that any blonde-haired kid wearing glasses was often referred to as Messy Marvin. The commercials ran continuously on television until 1985. The 80s was an iconic decade. Many of the things that it is remembered for often overshadow other great memories and items. I hope this video helped to remind you of some of the things that you had forgotten about. Can you think of anything else? Let us know in the comments below. As always, thank you so much for watching.